103 years.
You know, when you say it out loud like that, it doesn't sound like a measurement of time. It sounds like a sentence. That is how long I have been walking around on this earth, breathing this air, putting one foot in front of the other. And I gotta be honest with you, half the time I have absolutely no idea what I am doing. My name is Wilbur Henderson. Folks around here just call me Will. And in my time, I have had the distinct pleasure of burying 3 different primary care doctors. Good men, all of them. Educated men with degrees on the wall and soft hands. Men who looked at my charts, shook their heads, and told me, in no uncertain terms, that I was doing everything wrong. Will, you eat too much fat. Will, you work too hard. Will, you need to slow down. And maybe I am doing it wrong. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But the facts are the facts. I am still sitting here in this chair, and they are 6 feet under the grass. And that is, well, that's interesting, ain't it? I worked on the railways for 47 years. I started back when the engines were breathing black smoke and burning coal, and I didn't retire until they were talking about high-speed electric lines. I have seen the whole world change 3 or 4 times over. But you know what never changed? Not once? What I put on my breakfast plate. It's the same thing I ate when I was a strapping 25-year-old trying to impress a girl. Same thing I ate when I was 50 and my back started to creak. Same thing I am going to eat tomorrow morning, if the good Lord sees fit to wake me up. Now look, I barely made it through the 8th grade. I'm not here to give you medical advice. But I have been running a scientific experiment on this body for over a century, and I figure, maybe there is something to it. Maybe I stumbled onto something the books haven't caught up to yet. I'm going to tell you about 7 foods. The 7 things that built this engine. Fair warning, though, this isn't going to sound like what they tell you on the morning news. 1. Coffee. The first one is going to make some people upset right out of the gate. Coffee. And I don't mean that sugary milkshake nonsense you kids buy for $7. I mean coffee. Strong, black, bitter coffee. Hot enough to hurt your tongue. I started drinking it when I was 14 years old. My daddy worked the early shift on the railway, the 4 a.m. shift. You could smell the caffeine in the kitchen before you even opened your eyes. He'd brew it in an old percolator that rattled on the stove. Tasted like burnt dirt and diesel fuel. I loved it. It made the world sharpen up. I have drunk a pot of coffee every single day since 1935. That is, Lord, let me do the math. That is 89 years of caffeine. Every single morning. Now, I had this doctor back in the late 80s, Dr. Patterson. Nice man. He looked at me with these real serious, concerned eyes and said, "Will, you are 65 years old now. Your blood pressure. You need to cut back on the coffee. It's too hard on the heart valves." I looked him right back in the eye and said, "Doc, my heart has been dealing with this coffee since Herbert Hoover was the President of the United States. I think me and my heart have come to an understanding." He shook his head, wrote in his file that I was non-compliant. Dr. Patterson died of a massive heart attack in 1995. He was 58 years old. He was a jogger, too. Wore those short shorts, ate granola. Real healthy guy. I'm not saying the coffee saved me. I'm just saying I'm the one telling the story. They tell you now it's full of antioxidants. I don't know what an antioxidant looks like. But I know coffee wakes up the machinery. It tells your body, all right, time to go to work. Just don't ruin it. Don't put sugar in it. Don't put that chemical powder cream in it. My wife, God rest her soul, she was a saint. She used to tease me. She'd say, "Will, you gonna sweeten that up?" I'd say, "Nope." If you have to put syrup in it, you don't actually like coffee. You like candy. You like a toy. Drink it black. Your liver will thank you. Your brain will thank you. 2. Berries. Item number 2. This is for the mind. Berries. Any kind you can get your hands on, really. When I was a boy growing up in Kentucky, we didn't have a grocery store down the street. But we had blackberry bushes tangling up the back property line. Wild ones. Wicked thorns. You'd go out there in July, when the humidity was so thick you could chew it, and you'd pick berries until your fingers were stained purple for a week. We'd eat them right off the bush, handful after handful, warm from the sun. My mama would make pie if we picked enough, sure, but mostly we just ate them raw. Sometimes we'd eat so many we'd get a stomachache. Didn't matter. We'd be back out there the next day. I still eat berries every single day. Now, I have to buy them at the market. Blueberries mostly, sometimes raspberries. That little plastic container costs more than my first car did, but I pay it anyway. You want to know why? Somewhere around my 70s, I started noticing something frightening. All my buddies from the railway, the guys I trusted with my life, they were starting to fade. Not their bodies, their minds. They were forgetting things, important things, their kids' names, what year it was. They'd look at me and for a second, they didn't know who Will was. That scared the hell out of me. More than death ever did. I asked my doctor about it. This was Dr. Kimball, different guy, real smart fellow. And he said something about inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. I didn't follow most of the fancy words, but I remembered my mama used to say, God put the medicine in the color. The darker the berry, the stronger the medicine. So I kept eating my berries. Maybe it is a coincidence. Maybe I'm just lucky, but I am 103 years old, and I can tell you exactly what I had for breakfast on a Tuesday in 1952. It was oatmeal with wild blackberries. They call them polyphenols now, fancy word for purple. I just know that my mind is still sharp, and I plan to keep it that way. 3. Fatty fish. Number 3. Fish. And not the flaky white stuff that tastes like nothing. I'm talking about the oily kind. Sardines, mackerel, salmon, if you've got the money for it. We didn't have much money growing up. Sardines came in a tin can with a key on the side, and they cost about a nickel. You'd eat 'em with saltine crackers and a dash of hot sauce if you were feeling fancy. I loved 'em. I still do. Here is the embarrassing part, though. I didn't know they were good for you. I thought I was eating poor people food. I thought I was eating them because we couldn't afford a steak. Turns out I was eating brain food the whole time. My grandson, he's 42 now, works in computers, stares at a screen all day. He takes these fish oil pills, massive yellow capsules. Costs him $30 a bottle. I asked him why he bothers. He says, Grandpa, it's for the omega-3s. It improves cognitive function and reduces triglycerides. I said, Son, I eat sardines straight from the can. Cost me $2. My cognitive function is just fine. I can still beat you at checkers, and I don't need a calculator to figure out the tip at dinner. He didn't like that much. But it is true. Your brain is mostly made of fat. It needs good, high-quality oil to keep the gears turning without rusting. I didn't know that when I was 20, sitting on a loading dock eating lunch. I just knew they tasted good and kept me full until supper. They told me to worry about mercury a few years back. Oh, don't eat too much tuna, Will, the mercury. I told them I have been eating fish for 100 years. If I'm full of mercury, I'm basically a thermometer by now. It's too late to worry about it. I will take my chances with the sardines. 4. Eggs. Now this one makes me mad. This one gets my blood pressure up. Eggs. For 50 years, 5 decades, the experts told us eggs were going to kill us. They said the yolk was poison. They called them cholesterol bombs. They put fear in people's hearts over a chicken egg. My wife, she got scared. She stopped making them for a while in the 80s. She tried to get me to eat those carton egg whites. It looked like snot and tasted like rubber. I said, "Baby, the yolk is the best part. That is where the life is. That is where the flavor lives." She made me eat the whites anyway. For about 6 months. Worst breakfasts of my life. Eventually, I put my foot down. I went back to whole eggs. 2 of them, every single morning, fried in butter. Sometimes in bacon grease if I am feeling nostalgic for the old days. You know what happened to my cholesterol? Nothing. It stayed the same. You know what happened to my heart? It kept beating, strong and steady. I kept getting older, and the doctors kept getting confused. And then, about 10 years ago, the news changed. Suddenly, "Oh, actually, eggs are fine. We were wrong. Sorry about that." No apology. No, sorry we scared you for half a century. Just, yeah, eggs are a superfood now. I wanted to write a letter. To who? I don't know. To science, maybe. The yolk has everything a body needs. It has choline for your brain. It has lutein for your eyes, which, by the way, still work pretty damn well for a centenarian. It is a perfect little package of nutrition wrapped in a shell. God made eggs a long time before doctors made opinions. I trust the designer more than the critics. 2 eggs every morning. That is the rule. 5. Red meat. Number 5 on the list, red meat. I can already hear the gasps from the young people. Oh no, Will, not red meat. Yes, I am talking about beef. A good steak. A pot roast that falls apart on your fork. A burger, if that is what you have access to. The kind of meat that comes from a cow that actually walked around outside on the grass. They tell you it's going to kill you. They say it causes cancer, clogs your arteries, ruins the environment, all kinds of horrible things. Maybe. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone. But I worked on the railway. That work was hard. It wasn't typing on a keyboard. You were lifting steel, pulling levers, walking miles of track in the blistering heat or the freezing snow. You needed strength. Real, deep bone strength. And strength comes from meat. I ate beef at least 3 or 4 times a week my whole life. I still do, though my portions are smaller now because my appetite ain't what it used to be. Here is what I noticed over the years. The guys who went vegetarian in their 60s trying to get healthy, they got weak. Not mean weak, just fragile. They looked tired. Their skin looked gray, like old newspaper. They started shuffling when they walked instead of striding. The guys who kept eating their roast beef, we stayed strong longer. We kept our muscle. I am not saying you have to eat a 16-ounce ribeye every night. I am saying your body needs iron. It needs B12. It needs the dense nutrition that is in red meat. You can try to get it from pills or spinach, maybe. But this way worked for me. And at 103, I can still walk up a flight of stairs without stopping to catch my breath. Can you? 6. Fermented foods. Number 6. This is the secret to the engine room. Fermented foods. Now, growing up, we didn't use that word. That sounds like a science experiment. We just called them pickles, or sauerkraut, or if you were really fancy, maybe kimchi, though we didn't see much of that in Kentucky. My grandmother made sauerkraut in a big ceramic crock in the cellar. You'd go down there in the dark, and it smelled awful, sour, funky, like old socks. But when you put it on a hot dog, tasted like heaven. I eat something fermented almost every day. A pickle with my sandwich at lunch, a scoop of sauerkraut with my pork chops. Sometimes I'll take a fork and eat a little bit straight from the jar when nobody is looking. You know what I never had in my life? Digestive problems. I see these commercials on the TV for heartburn, IBS, bloating, people taking purple pills so they can eat a slice of pizza. I never needed those antacid pills. Never had what they call reflux. Why? I don't know for sure, but I read something a few years back about gut bacteria, about how you have a whole ecosystem living in your belly, and you need the good guys to keep the bad guys in check. Fermented foods are the reinforcements. They send in the good guys. My stomach has been processing food just fine for 103 years. It has handled spicy chili, questionable railway cafeteria food, and my sister's dry turkey. I'm not changing the formula now. Eat something sour. It keeps you sweet. 7. Dark chocolate. Last one. Number 7. This is my secret weapon. Dark chocolate. The real stuff. I am not talking about a Hershey's bar or a Snickers. I am talking about 85%, 90% cacao. The kind that snaps when you break it. The kind that almost tastes like dirt because it's so bitter. I started eating this late in life. Maybe 30 years ago? So I was only 73. Just a young man. My granddaughter went to Europe, went to Switzerland, and brought me back a bar. She said it was artisan. I tried a piece. I hated it. I thought she was trying to poison me. It was dry and chalky. But I tried it again the next day, and the next, and I started to like how it made me feel. Now I have 2 squares every afternoon with a splash of coffee. It's a ritual. Does it make me live longer? Hell if I know. But I read in a magazine that the cacao bean has something in it that helps your mitochondria, that's the little batteries in your cells, make energy. It keeps the lights on. All I know is, at 103, the lights are definitely still on. I can remember phone numbers from 40 years ago. I can do math in my head. I can hold a conversation with you without losing my train of thought or wondering where I put my keys. Maybe it is the chocolate. Maybe it is genetics. Maybe I am just too stubborn to die. But I enjoy those 2 squares of chocolate. It's a little reward for surviving another day. And I am not stopping now. So there you have it, the list. Coffee, berries, fatty fish, eggs, red meat, fermented foods, and dark chocolate. Will this make you live to 103? I got no idea. I am a sample size of 1. I'm just a guy who outlived the doctors who told him to stop. But I will tell you what I do know. These foods are simple. They have been around forever. They come from the earth, not a factory. They don't come in fancy packages with health claims stamped on the front. They don't cost a fortune, and clearly, they work for me. But I want to leave you with one last thing, and this is important, so listen close. It ain't just the food. The food is the fuel, but it ain't the engine. You gotta have something to live for. You can eat all the kale and salmon in the world, but if you wake up miserable, your body will quit on you. You need people to love. You need work that matters, even if it is small work, like tending a garden or fixing a fence. You gotta laugh until your ribs hurt. You gotta forgive people who wronged you, because carrying a grudge is too heavy for an old man to carry. You gotta sit on the porch sometimes and just be. Watch the birds. If your heart is full of anger, the broccoli won't save you. So, eat your eggs. But also call your mother while you still can. Eat your steak. But also say thank you to the person who cooked it. Drink your coffee. But put the phone down and watch the sunrise. Do that, and maybe, just maybe, you will stick around a while longer. I know this is the part where the young folks on the internet ask for a subscription. And well, I suppose I'd appreciate it if you did. If this old man helped you today, hit that button. It helps me keep the lights on and buy my chocolate. Now, if you will excuse me, the kettle is whistling. It's time for my afternoon cup. Take care of yourselves.